Royal Caribbean suites are really nice, but what are the real reasons you'd want to book them? I wanted to share my favorite things about the suites after one of our viewers challenged me to come up with my favorite things about the suites following a video I did in which I complained about some of the perks I thought were just simply overrated. So today I've got a couple of things that I really think make suites really worthwhile, and yes, it goes well beyond the actual suite itself because these cabins are giant rooms. That's obvious. I don't think I need to point that out. So instead, we're going to talk about things that really make booking a suite worth it almost every time. Number one is priority check-in. I don't know about you, but I hate waiting in line almost anywhere. I mean, I don't care if the line is 2 minutes or an hour. I hate waiting in lines. And the great thing about checking in with a suite is you have a dedicated line. In almost every single cruise port out there, there is a dedicated suite line, and that allows suite guests to get faster through security into check-in and ultimately on board the ship. This is really nice on newer cruise terminals like Terminal A in Port Miami, Terminal 1 in Port Canaveral, and Royal Caribbean's Terminal 10 in Galveston. I mean, it really makes it about as seamless as humanly possible, and having gone through both the regular line and the suite line, once you experience the suite line, it really does change your perspective on how quickly you can get there. Basically, these are shorter lines with better service and just gets you on board a lot quicker. In fact, if you're staying in a Star Class suite, you actually get probably the best check-in experience ever. Somebody literally walks you with your luggage all the way onto the ship. You kind of basically bypass everything. You still go through security and check-in, but you're escorted the entire way. It's hand-holding, not literally, but figuratively, and it is about as simple as humanly possible, and it gets you on board the ship super quick. My second favorite thing about booking a suite are the double points. This has nothing to do with the suite itself or even the cruise, but the fact you get double Crown and Anchor Society points. When you book a suite, Royal Caribbean gives you an extra point per night for staying in that suite. If you were actually to book a suite solo, you would actually get 3 points per night because you would get an extra point for being solo, an extra point for staying in a suite. And this is the easiest, fastest way to move up in Crown and Anchor Society. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everybody you really shouldn't cruise purely for points, but when you're trying to get to another level of Crown and Anchor Society, maybe you're trying to get to Diamond status or Diamond Plus or even Pinnacle someday, most people are trying to maximize their cruising to get there faster. Certainly you can book just a bunch of cruises, but it's really hard for most folks to take, many cruises throughout the year. So staying in a suite allows you to get there a little bit faster. Think about it this way. If you were to stay in a regular cabin on a 7-night cruise, you'd get 7 points for that sailing. But if you were to stay in a suite, you get 14 points. And if you ever booked up to a junior suite by yourself, you actually get 21 points. And you really can move through the lower levels so much faster if you're adopting this strategy. Number 3 is not having to go to guest services. I mean, you probably still could go to guest services, but I try my best to avoid it all possible. And the best reason about staying in a suite is you get access to the Suite Concierge. The Suite Concierge can do many things. Chief among them, they're basically your own guest services. And the advantage of the Suite Concierge is there's less of a line. They already kind of know you a little bit. And quite frankly, their disposition is a little bit friendlier. The Suite Concierge should be able to do almost anything that the regular guest services can do, plus more. I mean, their job is to make your cruise better. So not only will they make reservations for you, fix billing issues, get you a new SeaPass card if you need it, but also rectify anything you're looking to do, offer advice, and maybe even fix some things. I've had many situations in which we've tried to get into a restaurant or a show that's not available, and the Suite Concierge does a little few things behind the scenes, and maybe they work their magic and they're able to get you in. Not all of the case. I don't want to make false promises here, but they're very helpful in that regard. My advice on day 1 of staying in a suite is go up to the suite lounge and meet the concierge, introduce yourselves to them, get to know them, and just, kind of put a face to the name, because you would have gotten an email from the concierge before the cruise welcoming you on board, giving you kind of a layout of the benefits and whatnot. But it's always good to, again, have a more personal touch with them. Plus, the concierge can do a lot of other things. In fact, one of my favorite things, well, it's on the worst day of the cruise, which is the last day of the cruise, is they'll actually escort you off the ship. And why that's important? Well, first of all, they'll get an elevator for you. And second of all, they'll also bypass most, if not all, of the line. In some of the ports, the line to disembark the ship can be very long. And having the concierge at your back really makes a huge difference there. Another thing I really like about suites are the reserved seating at the pool deck. Now, I'm the first to admit I'm not a huge pool deck guy. I don't hang out there all that much. But if the weather is nice, meaning it's not feeling like surface of the sun, I really do enjoy going up to the pool deck. Now, depending on the ship, there's reserved seating for suite guests in different places. My favorite is by far Wonder of the Seas and Utopia of the Seas, which has its own suite sun deck, that actually has shade and chairs and a bar there and a plunge pool. It's my favorite. I can go there every single day of the cruise. Even on hot surface of the sun days, you'll still find me up there a lot because I really do enjoy the ambiance and the fact there is shade and a nice breeze up there. But even on other ships, like I was recently on Independence of the Seas, and I was hanging out in the reserve seating that's near the pool bars. This is a great spot, and the nice thing about it is they've actually added umbrellas here so you can be in the shade. But having reserved seats at the pool is such a huge benefit because if you've been on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and you know that on sea days, chair seating by the pool is very hard to get, especially once you get past like 9:30 in the morning. Chair hogs, unfortunately, are a problem. And even if there wasn't a chair hog problem, people just hang out there all day long. So having reserved seating is a really nice benefit. Is it a reason to book a cruise? No. But I do think I enjoy this benefit. And when the weather cooperates, I love to take advantage of it. Sometimes I have to remind myself, oh yeah, it's actually a thing here. But it is a really nice benefit. I said at the beginning of this video I wasn't going to talk about the actual cabin itself, and I'm not. But I am going to talk about the bathrooms, because if there is a huge difference between a suite and a regular cabin, it's in the bathroom. So in a normal cabin, pretty much all the bathrooms look almost identical. Whether you're in an inside or a balcony, it's pretty much the same thing, maybe a square foot or two difference, but pretty basic, right? When you get to a suite, especially if you move up to some of the bigger suites, my goodness, the bathrooms become almost palatial, and it's amazing. Not only do you get a bathtub in addition to a shower, which is a nice benefit there, it just feels a lot bigger and actually feels like a bathroom you might actually use or have back on land. Often these bathrooms also have dual sinks, which is a huge plus when you're sharing that with a spouse. And in general, I just find that suite bathrooms actually feel like a major step up, even for some of the lower level suites, like maybe just a grand suite or an owner suite, which is still a very nice suite, don't get me wrong, but you see the difference in a lot of cases with the bathroom in and of itself. And lastly, the best thing about staying in a suite, my favorite thing about staying in a suite, is of course the Royal Genie. Now this is only available for the Royal Suite class suites that are out there, available on the Icon, Quantum, and Oasis class ships, but the Royal Genie changes your life. Now, obviously, this is the most expensive suites that are available out there. And in many cases, the prices rival something like $20,000, $30,000 for a family of four for a week easily. However, price aside, we're not here to talk about value. We're here to talk about my favorite things about staying in a suite. By far, the Royal Genie is incredible because it just makes the cruise about as easy as humanly possible. And I have this whole channel here talking about how to have a great cruise and plan around and all these tips and tricks. And let me tell you something, they all work. However, even for me, I can appreciate having the easy button, so to speak, and having the Genie do all of it for me. And that really is what the Genie is all about. A lot of times people who have never tried a Royal Genie will talk about, well, why should I bother doing this? Man, I can do all these on my own. I really don't need to pay somebody to do this, certainly not that much money for it. And they're not wrong, except when you do it, it's just nicer. It just really makes the whole cruise a little bit simpler. It's great for families, great for new cruisers. What I really think makes this stand out is that level of service. It's pretty much white glove service that takes about as much of the thinking out of the experience as humanly possible, especially for spur of the moment decisions. Like, let's go see the show that's going to be happening tonight that we didn't make reservations for, but we feel like doing it now. Or, hey, let's go get a reservation for a specialty restaurant that all of a sudden we feel like doing. Or having coffee brought to your cabin in the morning to wake you up with Starbucks and whatnot. It will definitely spoil you, but in a good way, and you'll also get plenty of memories out of it too. So if we're talking about truly my favorite things about a suite, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the Royal Genie service because it is absolutely incredible. For a look at what the Royal Genie service is like and what you can expect if you ever book a Star Class suite, check out this new video here that I've got all about suites and the Royal Genie service and what to expect from it. I think you'll find it really eye-opening. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.